Hey, this is Shiraz, and before we get started, I just want to let you know that when I clear something for someone, when I cause a shift, I tend to yawn and cough from the energetic shift that happens. I don't know why it happens. It's just how my body works. And if you don't know that, you're going to listen to this video and go, what the hell is wrong with this guy? You might still think that, but now there's more of an explanation. The other thing to keep in mind is that if you hear something that you can absolutely relate to, when I cleared for them, you can get it cleared for you too. Just say yes when they're saying yes, and it works. I have people that watch these videos every morning to get stuff cleared. This can be your new morning habit too. Okay, that's enough for that. Let's get on with the video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you get a great shift out of it. See you soon.
I am in a spot right now of the last couple of weeks, really nice flow, manifesting lovely things. And what repeatedly comes up when I get into one of these phases is how to sustain that, because I've never done it before. No.
Okay.
What's different this time? How do I sustain it?
Okay. So the quick answer is you don't, but that's not a bad thing. So what's happening is you've got this belief going that I have to figure out how to sustain it and how to sustain it and keep it going. But what can actually happen is you've got a good thing going, and then it ends for just a little bit, then you get another good thing. And so you're not sustaining it, but generally there's so many good things coming up, it feels like it's just this sustainable life.
I want that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that.
Because that's
I
how
haven't
life
done
works.
that.
Yeah, that's how life works. Life, because here's the thing: if you sustain it, you got to look at it this way. If you sustain it, think of a heart monitor. Look, I'm sustaining my life. It's all good now.
Yeah, yeah,
Right? But if
yeah,
it's like, hey, life is good, and then there's a little peak, but then and then there's another little peak, but then that's your life, right?
yeah. So how, when I'm in the dip, do I not embrace that as so my history is whatever is going on, whether it's wonderful or my perceived horrible, like that's what it is.
Yeah.
And so when it's down here,
Yeah. What do you do?
yeah.
Okay. So the answer there is you're going to get upset. Let the upset process, but be in the space of, oh, well, this is just one of those little dips. I'm going to come out of it. Right. Like I used to, like, for me, especially with finances, like I'd get a bill and it'd be like $5,000 unexpected bill. I'm like, what the hell, man? How am I going to pay this back? This is crazy. But now if something like that comes up, I'm like, oh, that happened. Well, money's going to show up again. Let's just see what happens. And it always, always, always does. Right. So the more you realize that, well, that's just what happened now. And then that's just what happened. And then that's just what happened. The easier it is to navigate it, because, well, something bad just happened, then something good just happened, and something bad just happened, and something good, and then another good thing happened. And that's just the way life works. But we've been trained to go through these emotional reactions to what's going on. One of my favorite stories is about this monk, and his phrase was, "Oh, is that so?" Right? And so what happened was he lived in the village, and he was this wise guy that people would come to and ask questions, but he was just in this space of, oh, is that so? And he lived next door to this family, and the family had this 18-year-old daughter who was having a relationship with this boy that the family didn't like. And she got pregnant. And she didn't want to get the boy in trouble because she wouldn't be able to handle the wrath of the parents. So she said, oh, it was the monk that got me pregnant. And they're like, what? And so they came over and they yelled at the monk. And it's like, you got our daughter pregnant. He's like, oh, is that so? He's like, yes. How could you do that? She's 18. She's innocent. And he's like, oh. Right. And he said, so when she has the baby, you're going to have to take care of it. It's like, oh, is that so? And so then they told the village that he had got the girl pregnant, and then no one wanted to see him in the village. And then they brought the baby over, and he started taking care of the baby, and he started raising this baby really well. And then finally the daughter broke down and said, Mom, Dad, it wasn't him. It was actually this guy I was dating. And they're like, what? I said, but we gave the baby away to the monk. And she's like, yeah, but it's so then they came back and they said, we found out that it's not your baby. We're going to take the baby back. It's like, oh, is that so? And he hands the baby back to them. And then he just goes back living to his life because he doesn't care, right? Like, he doesn't care what's going on with the craziness of everyone else. And he's just living his life happily, enjoying taking care of the baby, enjoying not taking care of the baby. Something that looks like some crazy stuff. I've been accused of all this stuff. He's like, oh, it just sort of happened. Is that so? And he just keeps doing it. And his life is all great, but everyone else was going through all the turmoil.
Yeah.
Right? And the more you realize that's just what's going to happen in your life, the easier and easier it's going to get to navigate this. But it means breaking that old program of, I need to be upset about this. This is a horrible thing. There should be a reaction because you've watched everyone around you do that. But that's because that's what they've been taught. And that's what their parents have been taught. And that's what their parents have been taught. And when you stop doing this, people are going to look at you a little weird. Going, aren't you upset? Patty, what the hell? Patty, that person just yelled at you. Or Patty, you just lost $10,000. And you're like, oh, no, is that so? Okay, well, let's just see what happens. Because it's always going to work out. It's worked out up until this point in your life. You've had hard times, you've had good times, but now you're here, you're still going. It's going to work out. And when you move further and further into that space of it's going to work out, and it just becomes matter of fact, it's going to work out. It's always worked out before. It's going to work out. So sometimes it felt bad and but I came out of it. I'm good. It's going to work out. You'll just see it start to work out and work out and work out. Right? And that's the true meaning of faith. Right? It's not that, bad things won't happen. Is that when things happen, it's just going to work out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
But there's the fear of there's still that like waiting for the shoe to drop.
Okay. So why do you have to be in anticipation of the shoe to drop?
That's a really good question. Yes, why?
Yeah. Because if you're waiting for the shoe to drop, you're not actually in the present moment. You're in some future moment where the shoe drops. Right. And when you're projecting into that future moment of the shoe dropping, well, even though you may not know where it is, whatever you're witnessing, whether it's imaginary or real, you're bringing into creation. So you're causing that shoe to drop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in the present moment and like things are really good in the present moment, just go with that. I'm just going to keep observing how wonderful things are in the present moment. And see, here's the thing. Most of the anxieties and problems people go through, they only take a second real time, but they take hours, weeks, days, mental time, because you're waiting for the shoe to drop, or you're still dwelling on it when it has dropped, and you're punishing yourself. And the actual moment of bad in your life is just this tiny thing compared to everything that's good, right? I mean, if you're worried about a bill that's due at the end of the month, well, I guess let's go to the end of next month because this is the end of the
month. we just missed it.
Right. So you could spend the entire month worrying, am I going to have enough money to pay that bill? Which is a whole month of worrying. And if you pay the bill, then you've just wasted a month worrying, right?
Yeah.
Right. Or you could be present every day and go, wow, this is really good today. I'm enjoying myself. This is fun. And then it doesn't mean you don't take actions to try to get that bill paid, but you're still present, taking action, enjoying the present moment. And then when you get to the end of the month, if you pay the bill, then you've had a great month. If you don't pay the bill, you've had a great month, but you just didn't pay the bill. The way most people do it is they have a bad month no matter what, and maybe they pay the bill, and maybe they don't pay the bill. Right? Okay. So are you willing to step out of the story that you've always got to be on the lookout for what could go wrong?
Yes.
Whose story is it that the shoe is always going to drop?
I think it's mine.
Okay. Yeah. So are you willing to step out of the story that shoe is always going to drop?
Yes.
You're actually resisting that one. Okay. Because it's interesting, your mental definition of always is almost immediate, like it's going to drop. And whereas that shoe is going to drop, the shoe might not drop for 8 years, but you're like, no, I know it's right there. It's coming up. It's coming up. It's coming up. Okay, so let's try to get, are you willing to step out of the story that that shoe is always going to drop?
Yes.
And the other story that permeates a lot of people is all good things must come to an end. Right? And that's true. That's absolutely true. But what people assume is that after that good thing ends, a bad thing begins. Another good thing could start after the good thing ends. That possibility is out there too. So when you start getting into that story, you realize that there are other possibilities. And though good things are end, and doesn't mean that better things start because of the good thing ending. Okay, how you feeling?
I'm mentally thinking about the experience of there having been more bad than good.
Okay. Yeah. So the story was that shoe always drops. There's something bad that's always around the corner. So you're going to create more bad than good. When you stop waiting for the shoe to drop, when you know everything's going to work out, you're going to start seeing more good things show up than bad things. And when you lock on to that evidence of more and more good things showing up, then more and more good things show up. But if you keep locking onto the evidence of the bad things, that's what you want to create. Ooh, yeah. There we go. And it's that looking for evidence of good and that certainty that things that's going to work out that takes you from having a bad year to having a bad week to having a bad day to having a bad few minutes. Right? And then the rest of it is all good. And then you have another bad little while and then you come out of it and everything's good. And that becomes your lifestyle rather than the opposite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please give it a like. And if you had a shift of your own, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Also, check out the description for energetic magic events that you can attend every single month. Be well, be aware, and be magical.